Good morning, everyone. I wanted to take you on a garden tour. A lot of stuff has not done well whatsoever, but there's lots of stuff that is thriving, that it's doing wonderful. So I wanted to take you on a tour to show you what my urban homestead looks like. So we're gonna start over here at the patio, and I'm not gonna go in there because it's a bit of a trek to come all the way back there. I have deer netting around the whole thing, and it's actually working. You can kind of see the dip on that side and the top over here, and it has actually really worked. So I've got these two bins, and I had Orach. It's funny because I've watched a few channels and no one seems to know how to say this properly, but everyone just spells it O-R-A-C-H, mountain spinach I think it's called. And I had Mizuna over here, and that's like long gone, and I haven't replaced it yet, which I need to. So I've got potatoes in here with some beans. These guys are beans. I'm waiting for these guys to basically die back. They had beautiful flowers on them. I did also have potatoes in that 25-gallon one. It was an okay harvest, nothing crazy. But then I put these, I forget what they're called. I'll put it down below, beans in there. And then these guys are red tongue beans, so you can see them over here. And then I've got a sage hiding right there. So in here, this is the first pallet bed that I built. I'll link the episode down below, out of pallets. And I'm actually gonna gift these to my friend Sarah because we need more space on this patio. And with this watering system, she's got a better setup for watering. Which I don't. So I actually want to utilize this area of the patio, and I want to do something with those or just give them away. And I want to actually put these bags in other parts of the garden, and I need better access to water those 3 garden towers because that one's all full of strawberries, and it did not do anything this year. So and then those 2 just look sad. There's bachelor buttons on the top. They're the most pitiful things you've ever seen. So I'm going to gift these. I'm rearranging this for next year. But for now, my celery was struggling quite a bit. I should have never planted celery in a box. So in case you're thinking of doing it, it's a horrible mistake unless you're going to be out here 3-4 times a day watering this thing. At least in the heat that we get, it's so hot that it basically, you can see it like burnt up a whole lot of them. And now I'm watering 3 to 4 times a day, and it's making a huge difference. But I've got a celery up at the top. It's just unbelievably amazing. So I planted some lettuce. I think this is Lola Rosa. I think. I'm not quite 100% on that. Oh no, sorry, it's pomegranate crunch. Sorry, the tag just fell over. This is pomegranate crunch. These are, my fingers are stuck. These are some carrots. I've put some carrots in here. I didn't realize how big these pak choys would get. But oops, there are some flowering over there and bolting, going to seed. There's some zinnias over there, and then my one little celery that I shoved in there. And as you go to the side, I've got some more lettuce. And then I've got my sage. I did pick that one heavily the other day. This is what the patio looks like. And I've got to show you what is going on. I want to do an episode and basically just put my camera out here and just look at all the pollinators here. It is absolutely insane. This is like some sort of weed. And I had it way at the top, and the amount of bees that were on this thing, I'm like, you know what? It's a massive weed. I'm pretty sure it's invasive because it's everywhere, but I'm like, I can't bring it to myself to cut it. They love it so much. There's butterflies on here. There's like, look, 2 butterflies over there, the bees, oh my gosh, just the diversity of pollinators that are attracted to this stuff. Like, I have no idea what it is. If any of you guys know what it is, just let me know. Going on to the next area. So this is where I had my onions. So this was all Walla Walla onions. And then these are some Patterson onions in this section. Then I have some leeks. Most of them fell over. So I just harvested them, You'll see that in an episode where I do a big harvest. Well, in my eyes, it was a big harvest. But I got some leeks over here. They're not the thickest leeks ever, but they're also not doing terrible. So these ones, however, are I think they're like the Kelsey, I think they're called. They're supposed to be gigantic. And I did it the Charles Downing method. So basically plant them and then you pull them out. And I didn't pull them out. So apparently onions need way more water than I gave them. I thought I was watering them sufficiently. But from what I've been looking up online, they need way more water than I was actually giving them. So I'm actually not going to have this as an onion bed. Next year, I'm going to have it as, I don't know, something else. But anyways, this year, it's still looking great. I'm still going to harvest whatever I've got in here. I've got to figure out what I want to put in here because I've got, I think it's 55 or 60 days between now and our last frost, or maybe even shorter. So I got to see if I can squeeze anything in through here. And over here, this was my disaster kohlrabi bed, which I didn't get a single one. So I put in a bunch of radish and beets, and that's basically it. And then I threw in some, it's supposed to be like a 45-day broccoli in there. Who knows? It might come up, it might not. No idea. But let me take you over up here to the side garden. And my chrysanthemums are doing amazing. I have been collecting some. I've been leaving a lot for the bees. Now, my squash is pitiful and sad. Yeah, I haven't gotten a single zucchini or patapan out of my yard. All the patapans that I've gotten are from Sarah's house. So, it is what it is. Oh, look. Got some cucumbers here. That's a nice big one. I haven't collected a whole lot. And I can't even get this one off. There we go. Use the cattle panel to pull it off. Originally, I had radish and beets in here. Didn't get no beets, just radish in here, and I had beets down there. I didn't get a single radish. It is what it is. But these giant marigolds are gorgeous. And I did plant some deer tongues in here, so you can see those in there. These are my Mexican marigolds. They're cute. I don't know if I'd plant them again or buy another package. I might if I did like a wild, kind of like a wild area. I might do it there. But I've got some cucumbers in here, and I've got some beans. These ones are either the 1500-year-old beans, or it's the Mother Cave or Cave Mother, something like that bean. And these are finally taking off. Oh my God, it took forever. So I want these beans to be able to dry so we can make hummus after and dips in that. So, oh, something's been eating that one. Clearly that must be a good one. And then these were calendula. These guys were calendula. So now that this is like basically almost dried, I'm going to save the seeds, and I just want to scatter them around the backyard. And then I've got a bunch of bush beans. I planted some more cucumbers, thinking that I would get a little bit more. They didn't do so well. These are tomatoes. Oh my gosh, not potatoes. Tomatoes that I got from Sarah's house, and they're finally doing something. Tomatoes, not so great this year. I don't know what's going on. But the beans are looking pretty good. Like I said, I'm going to be drying them. So I'm just leaving them on the vine. I'm going to be collecting them later. And over here, I've got some carrots that are finally, I planted these things at the end of March. And they're finally now doing something. I don't know what I did wrong, but they shouldn't be taking this long to mature. So basically it took like the entire summer. And I've got some sunflowers in here. And then that was the purple peas, purple snap peas that I planted They did okay. They did better than the green ones. So I just haven't taken that out yet. I figured I'll just leave it. And then I've just got a bunch of, I tried planting beans. I tried doing squash again. That didn't take. Something was eating the squash. Nothing really came to anything. There's my one little sad cucumber that's not going to do anything. And that guy just won't string up, so it is what it is. I planted loofah in here. Loofah didn't come up. These ones are just beets that I planted, and then my one carrot. I don't know how that got there, but again, these are about 2 months old. I don't know what's going on. They're not doing anything. And my kale, this is just like my sacrificial plant that I'm trying to attract all the pests to this kale so that they don't go anywhere else. It's kind of working. It's kind of not. At least they're having a good time eating it. I have been picking leaves when they're young, just for salads and stuff. But for the majority, I'm just leaving this alone. So that's how this is going. Coming up the hill, I've got to figure out what to do with this entire section next year because it is not productive. I have a bunch of, again, patapans and zucchinis. They are not loving it whatsoever over here. And I really don't know what it is. They've got lots of water. I don't know what it is. I'm completely lost. I've never in my life had it where I haven't been able to grow zucchini. Stuff is growing. I've got a squash there. I've got another one hiding over here. The bugs are all over this section. I think that might even be a watermelon over here. I don't know 100%. But I'm just letting these guys go. Check out my sunflowers. Aren't these so cute? So I had like 5 sunflowers and I was so mad that nothing was growing in the spring and I wasn't getting anywhere that I was like, you know what, the hell with it. So I just started throwing sunflower seeds in like clumps of 5 in each hole, and this is what turned out. And you know what? I'm gonna do it again, except I've got it all on the back. I'm gonna go even further into like where our wild section is. And yeah, that actually worked. So I've got, although I think I need to do a little bit more mixing because these ones are all open, those ones are not, and the ones at the back you can see those ones are all still closed. So I need to do a better job of just mixing so I have like yellow spurts, like, you know, here, there, and everywhere. Over here, this is where the sun hits first, so everything I feel like matures a lot sooner over here. And this is again that other plant that it doesn't have as many blooms on it. I'm trying to get it in sharper focus for you guys. There's not as many blooms on this, but there's still tons of bees here. And then Maple's, of course, eating like grass over here. Here is gonna be where I will always have squash. Like, look at this. It is just, like, if there's a magazine picture on what a squash bed should look like, I think this would be it. The flowers on this are amazing. It's starting to die off there. And everywhere you look, there's a squash. There's one there, and there, and here, and 2 there. And what I did was, I'm actually really worried because it's the end of August. I don't see a whole lot like maturing yet. And I really don't want to run the risk of having stuff not develop. Like, look how gigantic this pumpkin is. I don't know what variety it is, but oh my god, like, I'm so excited. Like, this is better than winning the lotto, I think. Look at this. Pops of orange here and here and here, and where else? And here, and there's another one over here. Like, I have never grown squash. I never thought I could. And I'm getting pricked all over with my legs, but it's totally worth it. I can almost reach that one over there. It is like, there's just stuff everywhere. So what I did was, I'm so worried about stuff not growing or getting matured that I came down for the most part, and anywhere that I could find like the end of the row, like the end of the vine, I just cut it so it wouldn't grow any further, and I just snipped them all off. I don't know if I should have, if I should just let things go. I snipped another one over here because I saw this guy, but I don't know if that guy's gonna make it or not. Oh, that one didn't get pollinated maybe. But regardless, the amount of fruit that's in here, I think there's maybe like 10, maybe 15. And that like gigantic one, I'm just so proud of. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. So I'm super excited about what's going on in here. Now there's the back. The only thing that's really actually gone well here are the marigolds and the sunflowers. That's it. Nothing else. When you pick them on basically like a regular basis, they're gonna want to push out more blooms. And you know what? It's actually true, because I wasn't picking any of them, and it looked like the flower was kind of giving up and it's done its job. It kind of, you know, was really, really slowing down. And then I'm like, you know what? I just hacked it. I'm like, well, it looks like it's done basically growing. I'm just gonna hack this and see what happens. And they came back so full of blooms and blossoms and flowers that I now just, anytime I'm out here, I just hack the majority of them. There's more than enough flowers for the bees and the pollinators to eat. Yeah. And you can see all the ones that I've picked. So we've got a lot of chamomile tea for this winter, which is amazing. And nothing else has grown. I had watermelons all over here. I had one that was called Desert King that was specifically for like drier climates and drought resistant and drought hardy. It didn't even do anything. The one thing that I realized was that we didn't get the irrigation done till the end of July. And with doing that, I wasn't coming out here nearly as much as I needed to. And it was just an experience. I don't know how to grow in this climate. And I was watering how I used to water. Once a day, give it a good soak, and then you're basically good. But here, you need like that twice. So I'm gonna try watermelon again next year, except now that I've got the irrigation, I can get that going right off the bat. So like I do have little watermelons here. They're so tiny and they're stunted, and I get it. They're not happy, but I'm going to try it again next year and see if we can get anything going. But I do have some flowers, and I know you can eat them, but for this year, I'm just going to let the pollinators kind of have at it. I am growing some stuff, not a whole lot. I don't even think that these are gonna become anything. But if anything, Sarah's chickens will have a good time with it. So I wanted to show you something super, super cool. Let me just put this down. I wanted to show you something so, so cool. I watched Charles Downing and Hugh Richards and Stephanie Hafferty, and it's funny, it's a lot of UK people. And what they do is they don't actually pull out their vegetables from the roots when they pull them out and they're done. They just cut them. I had fennel growing here, and then I had I think it's called the Pacific swallow butterfly or something, lay a bunch of eggs. I had about 4 or 5 caterpillars. I harvested everything except I left them one bush. Well, I looked 2 days later and they were all gone. So I harvested that one. And I just cut them just above the soil line, thinking that that was going to be sufficient and I was going to plant something else. Now, I got to show you a close-up of this because this is super cool. This is where I actually cut the fennel. And there's 1, 2, 3 fennels growing off of that one bulb that I cut. And you can see again, like that's where I cut the original. And it's shot off all these side shoots, which is awesome. So now I know for next year. These are my peppers that are sadly being choked out of the sun with these massive marigolds, which next year I have to plant them somewhere else because that is where the sun comes up. And then as the sun comes up over the mountain over there, it just gets shaded out. So this, I don't remember what this is. I think it's lemon balm. And I'm actually not, I know I planted everything from seed and it's probably safe, but I can't recognize what I planted here. So I'm just letting this go. I don't think it's a weed. I've harvested my parsley, I think 4 or 5 times now, and I love it. My peppers, not doing so well. And I think it's a whole watering system issue. I've got some shishitos. I'm going to be making scrambled eggs with those. Those have been doing okay. I think they would have been doing way better had I gotten the watering figured out. But next year I just have to figure out what the watering system is now because all my sprinklers are over there and the tomatoes are not allowing the water to come over on this side. I do have a sprinkler head over there, but it doesn't quite reach back here where the peppers are. So I just have to reevaluate and reconfigure where everything's going and basically take into consideration like stuff's height and basically how bushy stuff gets. I've got some heirlooms in here. This is like tomatoes gone wild, but I've got some cool varieties that are coming in. I've got this guy. I've got some, and I don't know if they're coming out or not, or if they're gonna be ripe, but I do have some Amish paste over here. And this year I have so few like tomatoes that we're just eating them raw. I'm not making a sauce out of them. I'm dehydrating a few, but that's just to kind of experiment to see if we are a family who likes dehydrated tomatoes, or maybe we're not. But I've got, I think these are the black strawberries, heirloom. So I'll show you a picture of those, but I've got quite a few down there. And then I've got these guys, and they're cracked. I don't care. They're beautiful anyways. And then I've got that big gigantic guy way down there. I'm really hoping, oh, I dropped my tomato. I'm really hoping that's the yellow Kellogg. And then last but not least, these are my artichoke. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I've got a 4th one in there. They're not doing anything, and that's okay. I've got some more chamomile over here. This one is a flathead parsley that's just gone to flower, and it's kind of cool that they look like dill, but it's not dill. And then I did have a cauliflower that just wouldn't, it didn't produce even like a tiny head. It was nothing but flower, or nothing but leaves. So I pulled that out a few days ago and I fed it to Sarah's chickens. You can see where it was. I don't know what its issue was, but it never did anything. So that's okay.